to your health, something that we are all concerned about always. So as scientists continue to study coronavirus pandemic, it's remained a huge concern for older people.
Yeah, but it's not always tied into your age. Some of the most severe patients we've seen had underlying chronic health conditions. It's really shedding light on a major difference between chronological aging and biological aging. Dr. Nir Barzilai digs into the topic in his new book on aging titled Age Later: Health Span, Lifespan, and the New Science of Longevity. He joins us this morning to talk about the ways we can all try to turn back the clock and stay healthy in the process. Doctor, good morning.
Good morning. Nice being with you.
Absolutely. I am excited to dig into this topic with you. I guess first we should probably kind of start by explaining the difference between biological aging and chronological aging. What are we talking about here?
I want to start with better news. You know, aging has a biology, right? We see it. We know who's above 50 and who's below. What our mothers didn't tell us and we didn't realize is that it has a biology, and this biology can be targeted. Actually, aging is quite flexible. We can delay it. We can stop it. We can even reverse it in several ways. And it's true also that some of us are slowly aging. Some people will get to 100 with no efforts, and some of them are aging more rapidly.
So when you talk about so your chronological age, if someone is 50 years old, that might be the number that they tell people, but 50 can look very different on very different people. And I guess that's kind of what you've been studying, are ways to reverse some of the internal aging and not just tie it to the numbers.
Right. So let's make it relevant for COVID-19. Okay. So if you're over the age of 80, your chances of dying is 200 times than if you're age of 20. But as you kind of said in the beginning, there's other things. There's multimorbidities. Well, multimorbidities for me just means how old you are. Usually, I mean, there are young sick people, there are obese people. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about multimorbidity. Look, half of the population by the age of 65 have more than 2 diseases, and half have less than 2 diseases. If you're lucky and you have less than 2 diseases, you're going to survive coronavirus better because your biological age is really younger. So I think this is a really good example of biological versus chronological age.
Huh, that's really interesting.
And then in your book, you also talk about potentially delaying and reversing ages. So, what are ways to do that? Is it stuff like, eating healthy foods or exercising, or is it something different that we don't typically key in on?
Well, there are 2 points. There are actually drugs that are in human use that have major effects on health span. Okay, but let's talk about what's available to you if you're at home and hiding from the coronavirus. The best intervention that you could do to delay aging is exercise. Any age, any sex, exercise is good, even if it's walking for the elderly. And the second thing is not being obese. One of the ways that people can take care of it now is a special diet that is very popular and is effective in decreasing weight, and that's fasting for 16 hours or really skipping breakfast. So you can go all the way to lunch and you have just that many hours to hang in there, and then you can eat whatever you want. This period of fasting is very important to recapitulate some of the effects that work against aging.
Yeah, I know the intermittent fasting that's kind of become a buzzy, trendy kind of thing in the diet scene in the last couple of years, and definitely a kind of a breakaway from the 3 meals a day and some snacks, and make sure you're eating every number of hours. So what is it about the fasting that can actually kind of reset your body clock?
Well, we discovered that from animals. We give animals less food, they live longer, except that that's not what we did. It's not that we gave them less for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. What we did is we gave them the whole food in the morning and they finished it, and then they were fasting for 23 hours. If we give them food throughout the day, they're leaner, they're thinner, but they're not living long. So the fasting is doing things that we understand biologically. It increases our metabolism. It increases the way we do garbage disposal in our bodies, and has other effects that are really protecting us against aging.
Interesting. And maybe it'll just take away just a little guilt of the Friday night pizza. If you've been fasting before that, you can have an extra slice and not feel as bad, right?
Exactly.
Oh, well, thank you so much. And really quickly, before we have to go, where can people buy your book if they want to learn more?
Amazon.com.
Easy,
Awesome.
easy, great.
Very easy to know. Doctor, thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate all of your insights. And of course, if you want to learn more about biological aging and check out his book, we'll post a link with more for you at coin.com. Have a good one.
Nice being with you, and age later.
Thanks so much. Hey, 7:43.